This is crazy. I look so different. A lot of people overgeneralize Chinese makeup as douyin makeup. There's actually a lot of varieties in Chinese makeup styles. When I was in China last year, I had a pretty viral photo shoot. A lot of people asked for makeup tips, so today I recreated this makeup look using the tips I learned from my photo shoot. This is my follow along tutorial. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you liked the final makeup look. My name is Bex. I do a lot of makeup tutorials, especially makeup tutorial for Asian features. I've been sharing these tutorials for a while now, but mostly for short forms like YouTube Shorts or TikTok. And a lot of people give me feedback that these videos still are too fast, even though they're 3-5 minute long. So I thought, maybe YouTube is a place for me to start. So this is my first ever attempt at a YouTube follow along long tutorial for a complete transformation look to go from this to this. Let's get started. Before we start, we want to make sure skin is moisturized. Before I take the toner pads off, I usually slide over my face to remove anything that might be sitting on top of my skin and then put sunscreen on top. You can see I love this sunscreen so much. I'm actually at the bottom of it. It feels very soothing on my oily, sensitive skin and it layers really well for the base makeup later. I use a fan to speed up the sunscreen drying process. Otherwise, you should leave it on at least 15 minutes before going in with your base makeup. My skin does have a lot of redness, so I use a cream texture green color corrector to correct my redness first. I transfer the cream texture onto the back of my hand, then pick it up with the brush. This way the brush doesn't pick up too much product, which will lead to caking. If the color corrector texture is activated enough, meaning that it's stretchable, you can also use your finger like what I'm doing here to cover bigger areas. If you need to cover your dark circle, I recommend a salmon color depending on your skin tone and use a very small amount. Start at the bottom of a dark circle, then work your way up. For foundation, the tool is probably equally important as the formulation. It doesn't matter if it's cushion foundation or liquid foundation. I always use a spatula brush to pick up the foundation, then focus on the inner side of my face, then work it towards outside. In everyday interaction as well as photos, the center of your face is more focused. That's why we're putting more foundation in the center first. Before the foundation dries down, use a dry beauty blender or a puff to even out the foundation coverage and soften the edges in case there are any streak marks. Contour and highlight is going to be a bit more complicated than the usual techniques. Imagine you are scaling down your face for 20% and that is your contour zone. For nose contour, it is actually the heaviest contour part for the makeup look. However, do not exceed your inner corner of your eyes. Extend your contour liquid all the way to your lips, but do not put in these areas because that will drag your lips down. Remember, less is more. We don't have to go all in the first step. Next is liquid highlighter. In terms of where to place them, it is very personal. However, I do like to focus on the triangle area here, corner of the lips, inner eyes, as well as brow bones. To transition a highlight to your base color more naturally, you can actually use a beauty blender from earlier, pick up a tiny bit more product, and press in the areas where you have the liquid highlighter. Make sure that you don't move it around too much. Use the round end of the beauty blender to clean up any areas and use your finger to tap into nose area for precision. Now pick up a clean puff or a precision brush to blend out the contour liquid. Press, don't drag. If you make a mistake or if you need to soften the edges, blend it more, don't worry, you can always pick up the leftover foundation on the previous makeup tour and you can just go back and fix it. Blending the lip area, remember to blend inwards, not outwards, because we want to keep this area very precise. I look into the mirror and notice the contour is not balanced. This is where I use an even smaller brush for precision to add in more dimension. This step is going to make or break your Chinese style makeup. We all know Chinese makeup is known for the really bright inner corner, but unlike the douyin makeup, we don't want to add too much shimmer here. So a liquid highlight that is very precise in a small area, and don't snatch your nose too skinny because we want to keep the natural shape of your nose. Also, a wider nose bridge is a more youthful look in Eastern Asian makeup. I'm gonna go a tiny bit faster here because I think you guys get the idea. First, use a bronzer to warm up your whole face. Then in a double shape pattern, layer the same area with a slightly brighter beige color. This softens the bronzer but also brings the light forward. Then finally use a pink blush over areas where you would naturally flush. Notice this is not top of your cheekbone, but also under your cheekbone because that's how we flush. The next step is to use the classic Chinese nose contour palette, which is usually very cool tone to redefine your contour. As you can see, I don't just go over where my cream contour was, but I kind of just add more dimension by introducing a smaller area, but also darker. The next few products are going to make your inner corner pop out even more. Use a cream highlighter to lay the base. Press it with a brush to blend it out. You can also use your fingers. Now we're going to set the liquid and cream highlighter with a matte highlighter. Brush over the inner corners of your eyes. Part of your nose bridge that's right between your eyes, do not elongate that since we're trying to make the nose as short as possible. The first powder I use here is a little bit more beige. The second one is straight up just white powder. So use a shade that's fit for your base. Matte highlighter is one of my favorite skills to pick up from Chinese makeup styles. You can use it to clean up every makeup possible. I also use it to pump up areas that my skin has sunken a little bit, like nasal folds. If you want to blur out the harsh edges of the contour at this point, you can use the setting spray to reactivate your makeup and just blend it with either a brush or even your fingers. Also brush over the contour area with your blush, a fluffy brush. Trust me, this is gonna make the contour even more natural. It was very interesting to me that all my makeup artists in China used eyeshadow to trace the eyeliner and almost never used the liquid eyeliner. Here I'm using the same shade of eyeshadow to draw on the aegusol, aka under eye fat pockets that a lot of East Asians naturally will have. I want my eyeliner to stand out a little bit more, so I'm using a black eyeliner liquid to enhance. It's easier for me to make it symmetrical when I have one side done and look straight into the mirror to do the other side. A lot of people struggle with bottom lashes, honestly me too. My trick is to put the glue along the waterline, I should say the fake waterline that you've created with the eyeshadow earlier, and then place the clusters on top of that glue line. As you can see, I'm still fine adjusting after putting one cluster on as well. I do have upper lash extensions, so I did put in one very small cluster. For eyebrows, I like to use the gray contour powder as well, just because my hair is really black. Using a brown color can often lean red. I want to highlight my aegusol even more, so I went in with another pencil as well as powder. I'm gonna show you the exact magic eraser my makeup artist used in the viral makeup look. She literally used this powder everywhere. In the center of my face, to clean up the aegusol, to lift up my nasal folds, to clean up my lip shape. I'm playing this clip at 2x no cut so you can kind of see the magic of this powder. Final highlighter topper is so pretty. You can see using a dense brush, it shows up pretty intensively. I use this highlighter where I want to draw people's attention to. And even using it as a highlighter for the lips, reshaped my lips and made the lip oil even prettier. Honestly, at the photo shoot, the makeup artist didn't even set my face because the prep was pretty good and the makeup stayed all day. However, for myself, I do like to setting spray and then use a blurring powder. As you can see, it does make my skin look more blurred. And plus, I do have very oily skin. In this climate here where I live, I like to be extra secure. This is the final look. I do have lash extensions on. To get the most natural lighting, I do sit at a very sunny corner, so I'm sweating so much. All my hair is sticking on my neck. Let me know if these tips are useful. If you're interested in C Beauty space, do check out my playlist. I have tons of other videos, including product reviews, new launches, and the latest trends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.